For more on the boys who send it out to Cleveland, where the Browns remain the NFL's only winless team, Diana Russini joins us live. Morning, Diana.
Good morning, Hannah. The phrase trap game has a name because it's a real thing. Head coach Jason Garrett has warned his team all week long they cannot take this Cleveland Browns team lightly. They know what they are up against. They are well aware that their defense could be in trouble today because they are without two of their starters in the secondary, Mo Claiborne and Barry Church. Hannah, today the starter Cody Kessler, he was chosen by the Cleveland Browns over Dak Prescott. And when Dak was asked about that this week, if that was used as extra motivation, he said, yeah. In fact, every morning I wake up, I think about those teams that passed on me, and I want to prove them wrong.
All right, welcome to another episode of the One Star Cowboys podcast, and we have a special guest today joining us. Now, we all know that John and Saad cover the Cowboys, and they're awesome at what they do. And we also know that I'm a real goofball. So we need to add to the serious nature of the show. And that's why we've brought in, this lady's a star, okay? Of the Scoop City podcast over at The Athletic. You've known her for many years, though. Covering the NFL, one of the insiders. It is Diana Russini. Hello, Diana. Good morning.
AT, you guys fooled me. I was told I was coming on this show to level out the goofiness, right? We have the credibility from our Cowboys reporters, and then somebody needed to match your ridiculousness. So I feel fooled, but I'll stay and hopefully I'll keep the balance of both. I'll bring hopefully some information here, some shed some light on this Cowboys team, but also have some fun with you guys. So thanks for having me on.
No, thanks for joining us. I'll start out with the first question, then we'll kind of go around the horn. How many cell phones do you have as an insider?
Great question. I used to have 3. Then I went down to 2. Then I had 2 children, and now I just have 1 cell phone. So it actually makes no sense, right? Because it's like I've expanded my life. But I realized because I'm managing so many people and things now, I needed to cut back. So the 1 cell phone is great for my mental health, but it is very nerve-wracking, especially because I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and everyone that has small children knows children love phones. They love to look at them. They love to press buttons. They love to send text messages to head coaches and GMs with random punctuation marks and emojis. So I do live in my own hell with that in terms of the cell phone, but for me, 1 is enough, and it stays busy. It's very rarely fully charged either.
And sometimes they ask execs for money, right?
You heard about that?
I did.
It's brutal, man. It was so brutal. Okay, so for those that don't know the story, I'll tell a real quick one. It was early in the morning. You know, my sons are great sleepers, but they just got up early that day. And my older one took my phone, and Apple charged a general manager $50. It was like 5:30 in the morning, 5:45. And I didn't notice it, like, because I just, was getting ready for the day. And I wind up getting a text from that general manager just asking, "Are you okay? What do you need?" Which to me was just the kindest thing, right? Like if someone Apple charged me, I'm not going, "Are you all right?" I'm just like, get that, I'm ignoring it. So I wound up calling him, and I was like, "I am so sorry." And he kept going, like if you need money, if things are tough, like it's like don't be embarrassed, like the economy's rough. And I'm like, no, my husband has a job, like I have a job, like we're okay. But so yeah, sometimes it happens, and thank goodness we laughed about it. And I wish I could tell you that was my only story, but it's not. I have many of them, but I don't think the listeners want to hear my crazy household. So let's do it, guys.
Well, I imagine over the weekend, were you expecting that to happen with Dak on Sunday morning? When did you start to get like an inkling? This might be going down before the game.
So I write my What I'm Hearing column on Saturday mornings. But I write it on Friday, and usually Thursday I start really making calls around the league to just kind of get a feel for what's developing. So when our readers open it up, it feels fresh and new, and and maybe insightful at times. So at that point, the people I was talking to that were involved and close to it and know, pretty much understood what was happening, kept communication with me pretty consistently through this whole process. And the tone started to change in terms of, it was always positive, but it started to feel like, hey, you may need to be ready. And a week before, I didn't get that feeling. I really, truly did not get that feeling from the conversations I was having that this thing is going to get done before kickoff, 4 hours before kickoff. So to say I was surprised on Sunday would be an exaggeration. I certainly was not surprised. It just, there's a part of me that's like, man, they really did it. They really got this done. The Cowboys kept saying it, that we want him. He's the future. And I think we've all been so leery and hesitant to believing anything Jerry or even Steven has shared on local radio interviews and even on Scoop City. We dissected every word when Stephen Jones was on Scoop City, like every single word. We try to figure out what he was trying to say. And I think the bottom line was, we believe in Dak. We're doing everything to make this work. And then they were able to do it.
And I think it's takes us to a different, dissecting Jerry and Steven is obviously a lot of fun. John is the best in the business at that because he can, well, I don't know about dissecting, but he translates every word and dives into it as well and has for a long time. And you just go to John's Twitter account and see every crazy thing that Jerry said recently. It's a lot of fun. But so that happens.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
With that being said, and I've told Saad this in the last 48 hours, there's a lot less that I'm going to be putting out that Jerry says after this. This whole thing was a major game changer from the Jerry speak because this totally went against everything he was saying throughout the offseason. And we all know he's the final decision maker on this. And so like Diana said, stuff was starting to change in the last probably 24 hours before it happened. And to me, it went against everything Jerry said for about 6 months in the offseason about, where and the only thing you can really take from Jerry now that I absolutely trust, because it happened with the CD thing and it happened with Dak too, is when he doesn't want to talk about the contract and he wants to shut down and be unlike typical Jerry, like Grandpa Jerry, where he wants to tell you a story. When he doesn't want to talk about it at all, that's when you know something is going on. That's the biggest tell that I've noticed from Jerry recently.
Yeah, it's a great call by you. And it's true. Notice that he all of a sudden, after all this time and all the wild things that he's contributed to this conversation in terms of the negotiations, he was willing to say anything and everything. And then when we're 48, 24 hours before the deal was actually struck, we're not going to get into it. And it's like, flag, throw it up right now. And John, credit to you for doing a really good job of dissecting what he's saying. It should be a beat in itself. We have a beat reporter that translates the owner, right, and then the reporter that covers the actual game, because it is such a heavy lift from an outside perspective of not being there every day like you guys are. It's a circus, and I can only imagine how much work that is on you guys to try to not only get answers, but you have to keep up with it. And if I were you, I would just say, I'm not going to that press conference. It's a waste of time, right? But it's not, because it is so entertaining. And I had a general manager yesterday afternoon. We were just catching up on some stuff around the league. He was asking me, he's like, do you think Jerry did this for the theatrics? Was this part of that entertainment side to him that he can't resist? And I'm like, it has to be. It has to be part of it. I didn't hear of any stories yet. And look, it'll trickle out. But I haven't heard of anything yet where Jerry got spooked or someone got in his ear. Who knows? Maybe something did happen to make Jerry shift on all this. But I know the way this was lining up, or at least the way it was tracking, was it wasn't going to get done based on how far apart it felt. Yes, the optimistic conversation talk, right, that started to bubble about 3 weeks ago, right? Like, oh no, we're talking, it's going good. Dak was smiling all the time. Everyone was winking at one another without winking at one another, and it was like, wait, maybe this is trending better. And look, I think Dak was pretty transparent about it all with when he spoke to you guys. I don't think he was trying to be cute or hide any big secrets in terms of it. And I think Dak kind of appeared more just as shocked at times about this really getting done because so much did shift those 48 hours.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that about with Jerry, though, because it makes me feel like, because we've seen different signs throughout the offseason where Jerry was like angry still about the Green Bay loss, like almost just as mad 3, 4, 5, 6 months later. And so now that it's all done, it makes me feel like he finally gave into whether it be Steven, Will McClay, whoever around the building, eventually getting through to him like, I get it. I understand that you're upset and you have every right to be. Might be the worst loss in Cowboys history. But you have to look at the big picture. And is he really, what are we going to do at quarterback if we don't have Dak Prescott? We have to get this done. And the last thing that we need is Dak to be frustrated all season long. And I think ultimately that's what turned Jerry. But I had one other one I wanted to ask you real quick on that, because you mentioned talking about to other people in the league. What do you think the perception is of the Cowboys when you talk to other people around the league? You know, it's so easy for people around the Cowboys to just, be critical of the team, and they deserve it, 28 years without a championship. But like, I don't think of them as just this, they're just such a bad run organization. So what do you hear when you talk to other people?
No, I've never heard one person in the NFL space say, they don't know what they're doing. Do they always get the benefit of the doubt in terms of their ability to find players? Absolutely. They're the best at it. They're the top team of discovering, finding, growing talent. But in terms of the CD and the Dak contract specifically to this summer, I definitely was getting some people going, what are they doing? Like, people from the outside questioning, people that do this for a living, that make these kind of decisions, wondering what's happening there. I would say between the Cowboys and the 49ers, they were the two teams that had other teams going, why are they making this so hard? The Cowboys always get it done, but why is it so painful? Because there are disadvantages of waiting this long and pushing it through camp. Obviously, with CD, him not being there. Look, I'll point to the 49ers. Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel, both publicly admitted the years that their deals were in negotiations and they missed camp, and Deebo missed a little bit of camp. It weighed on them. That those were down years for them, that they started slow. Like the science is right there. The evidence is right in front of you that when you miss that much camp, it becomes a problem. And we saw it in week one in a lot of different examples. Not with CD as much, right? He was fine. Pedestrians. He wasn't pedestrian. He was good. He wasn't amazing. But at what point does Jerry understand that there is value to being out there in the preseason? So you start off the year really hot and ready versus the teams that we've seen with players missing. And not out there practicing at full speed, and it just takes so long for them to get up to speed. And my last thought, by the way, just on the contract getting done, I did notice a little trend from the national perspective. I started to see a lot of stories about which teams were going to be on Dak because we had to advance the story, right? Because it went from, all right, the deal's going to get done. The deal's going to get done. Here we are a few days away from opening kick, and the deal's not done. All right, well, he's probably hitting free agency. Nobody reported that there was a deadline, but everybody with a brain knows the deadline was kickoff for the week one. But then once you started seeing stories of like the 7, 9, 12 teams that would have been interested in Dak, I wonder if that played into it a little bit. I wonder if it was like, well, I may not be crazy in love with my wife right now, but I certainly don't want to see her get married to someone else, right? Like I'll ride this thing out. I'll give her what she wants. I'll get her the nanny. I'll get her a new car, whatever she needs to just stay happy. The thought of her with someone else is enough for me to just stay. We don't know if that's the truth, but I wonder if that stuff has any effect.
No, I was thinking about a lot of things when it comes to that, kind of like that a little bit, because I do kind of understand, like, okay, we can't get over the hump. But I do think there's one thing, and this is kind of, it'll take us where we're going here. And I don't know how much meat is going to be on this bone, but like, it is kind of timed up and seen as a lame duck year for some people. here in the Cowboys organization. And I wonder if Jerry liked the fact that everything was married up. But at the end of the day, it's way easier to find a head coach than it is to find a quarterback, as wild as that seems. And I just wonder if Mike McCarthy's going, well, how about my contract? I mean, just 3 straight 12-win years, and I've won a ring before. We're just handing out contracts to everyone, but I know coach contracts are different, and it's weird, and it's not even really very public a lot of the time. But the way the Cowboys have handled it has always been strange. Like, they didn't fire Garrett. They just let him go. And then McCarthy, 5 years. And it's real strange that Mike McCarthy's in the boat that he's in right now.
I don't think you have to wonder if Mike McCarthy is thinking, hey, what about me? He 100% is saying, he has hinted at that, right? Publicly in press conferences. Like, yeah, like nobody's comfortable being a lame duck. I can tell you, I have conversations with coaches all the time about their contracts. Way more than they probably would ever want out there because they're all paranoid about it. Any coach that tells you, oh no, I'm secure, I feel good. They're under so much pressure all the time, and no coach wants to be a lame duck. I'm having conversations with coaches who are 2 years out and they're freaking out. Which you saw Miami do it with Mike McDaniel recently. It's a little unheard of to extend a coach with 2 years left on his deal, but he came into the league at a lower number and he deserves to make more money. And I think ownership looked at that situation, was like, all right, let's do it, because we're seeing players do it, right? They're coming to the table early. So certainly a little bit of a trend there. So we keep that in mind when we're talking about Mike McCarthy, right? You have some coaches getting extended with so many years left, and Mike McCarthy's starting this year with all his key players signed up now, with the exception of Micah, of course. And he's not done. And look, I think the Packers game is fresh for sure on Jerry's mind when you want to sign up a coach. I don't think it helps any case for Mike McCarthy when you've got Mike Vrabel, when you got Bill Belichick, when you got a possibility of maybe Ben Johnson in this cycle. The competition enough is tough, right? That's something another coach, not outside Dallas, that brought up to me, was like, every current coach knows that getting another job after this cycle is going to be really hard, knowing who's on the street, knowing which coaches are sitting there, just wait. I mean, Bill's doing everything. You can't miss the man. We can't go a day without seeing, hearing, or watching. But I've never seen so much Bill Belichick in my life, and I covered the Patriots closely for years. Right? So there's that factor. And, I don't have any new information for you right now about conversations in regards to Mike McCarthy, but everything I've been told was they want to see what he can do for this team this year.
Yeah, no, probably the way you should go about it. Honestly, it's how I would. But I'm also like not the world's biggest McCarthy fan. But it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. With the salary cap and all these things that are happening, and you're seeing some teams probably going into the next few years going, okay, well, we have some good players, and if we're going to sign them, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, the other one is on the defensive side of the ball, and Micah Parsons would be the next man up next year. Can a Cowboys team with Dak, CD, and Micah Parsons, they can still fill out a roster, right?
I'm coming on this show as a guest to give nothing but good news, because I do think that's going to be one of those situations that is going to be sticky too. Like I want to say the Dallas Cowboys are going to approach this. This is going to be a smooth deal. Just off the top of my head, a smooth deal recently. Christian McCaffrey, smooth, right? They didn't even. I don't even think they had a debate. It was just like, you want this? Yeah, sure, great, boom, signed. Right? No drama around it. Why? Because Christian McCaffrey is the most important person in that building, according to Kyle Shanahan, right? So, bringing this back to Dallas, Micah Parsons is up there as the most important person on this team. So, but are they going to go about it the way John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan did? History tells me no, with how they've been doing these deals. But I don't think Cowboy fans need to panic that there's a world where Micah Parsons isn't going to get what he wants, or a Dallas Cowboy team that doesn't have him on the team. Like this he is a homegrown stud that they're going to want to keep in a Dallas Cowboys uniform.
Well, I don't think those other people have their own podcast that they can just go on like Micah does, and talk about the negotiations like he's already done this week.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I was scrolling in between stuff yesterday and I saw it, and I want to watch it because it's Micah Parsons. Like, you have access to a player, but I didn't last very long. What am I missing? Can you guys give me a little bit of the Cliff Notes version of what I'm going to tune into if today I decide to go actually sit and focus and watch the Micah Parsons show?
Oh, John listens to every episode. So.
Yeah, it's kind of wheels off. It's a little bit of everything, but it's interesting from what you get from like a Cowboys fan perspective. Is I think there might even be a little oversaturation where, while in the first couple of years people were super intrigued, I think it's died off a little bit because he just talks about so many different things that it makes me wonder just like how great is it doing? I just know from our side of it that there's this frustration from some fans that his production is tailed off at the end of the season, and it's kind of okay, that's great, Micah. Let's see. Okay, do it in December and January. And even though that's not fair to him, because let's be honest, since he was drafted, they've been a 12-win team. He deserves as much credit for that for everybody. But I do get the sense a little bit that Cowboys fans, particularly with the way these seasons keep ending, kind of get a little frustrated with hearing that. But for him, I don't know how much that matters, because when he's willing to sit there and say candid things about other players around the league, I'm sure fans want to listen to it, because like you said, he's a star player. Like, people are going to listen to him talk. But with Cowboys fans, I wonder how much that's kind of worn out.
Well, his agent has to hate going into a negotiation or being about to go into a negotiation with Micah saying, at the end of the day, I want to be a Dallas Cowboy. They lose a lot of their negotiating power right there.
I think that every agent cringes when their players are oversharing. You deal with it on Scoop City, and I've had to have conversations behind the scenes about, hey, can you give me a quick summary of what my guy said? Because some are really media savvy, some, especially like communications directors and PR people with teams. It's always funny to see when, especially when I was working at ESPN and I would be with my microphone and camera next to the player, whenever the PR guy is standing close to me, that means they don't trust the guy. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas I've had
that is so true.
I've had interviews where like I don't even know where the PR guy is. I've had a full, like, I remember in New York with Saquon, like, PR guy was nowhere to be found, because they knew Saquon knew how to handle any question. Like, and usually it's the quarterback. I mean, the quarterbacks are usually really good because they have to be. They're forced to. So the fact that Micah is off the rails here, I'm going to work on trying to see if he can be a guest on our podcast. Have you guys ever reached out to see if he'd come on this one?
No, just because the fact I'm sure he has some kind of exclusivity deal with his podcast people.
That's probably
so,
true.
Yeah.
John, I love John. My favorite thing you said, by the way, was I'm not sure how it's doing. Like, you're competing. Like you're you're a true podcaster, man. You're like, I wonder what the numbers are. Like, that's the new world I live in too. By the way, now that I'm a podcaster, I'm always wondering like, how'd that do? It's quite the hamster wheel of hell. But look, I think overall, in terms like to just put just to kind of wrap up the Micah conversation, I can just tell you how teams are approaching the Dallas Cowboys. They know that Dallas plays well when they're ahead. And they know that they're going to have this defense, this Mike Zimmer scheme, which I was so impressed with, by the way. I wasn't sure what to expect. Dan Quinn has had so much success, right? They've done so well with turnovers over the years. But I really liked the scheme. I think this is going to work. I think there's going to be times, again, we're going to see the defense bailing out perhaps a slower offense if they run into some trouble here along the way. But what we saw against Cleveland coming out of the gate, to me, that I went from thinking the Cowboys were going to kind of run back the same old kind of Cowboy shtick of having a decent year, but not a great, and maybe not making the playoffs, to now I'm all over. Now I think they're going to be a top team in the NFC. So I am a true overreactor of week one.
I got a quick one right here. Not exactly related to the Cowboys, but just in your job in general, you've been doing this for a while. How much do friends and family annoy you with trying to find out behind the scenes stuff about maybe their favorite teams? Or have you been doing this long enough to where they don't really bug you with that anymore?
Yeah, no. My father, who obviously talks to a lot of people that enjoy sports, learned years ago, like, don't call me for fantasy stuff. Don't ask for tickets to games. That's the kind of stuff I get probably. I will say, and Kent knows this, my children's daycare parking lot is my hell, actually, because it's always the dads running late to work. But they want to always be really courteous and nice, and they always are. Like, hey, Doug, how are you? And I got, both my kids hanging off me, a phone on my ear. I'm like, oh, I'm good. And like, Christian McCaffrey, is he in this week? Should I play him?
Want to hear, like,
is he in the lineup?
How's Saquon looking?
Yeah. Oh, it's all the time. And I always answer, because here's what I've discovered over the years. Like, I'm the biggest complainer, but I love it, if that makes any sense. I'm in this like tug of war every day of my life. I wish I wasn't an insider, but I love breaking news. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Sure.
I get it totally.
It's like, I wish I wasn't so passionate about it, but I love it. And I don't know what I would do. I have no idea what I would do if I wasn't spending my day trying to find out more information. So, I guess maybe it's a good problem to have, right? Because I know a lot of people don't even like what they do. So
you are completely dead on. I was telling Saad this, and I told my brother this too, the morning that the Dak deal happened. I mean, we're on the road in Cleveland. I'm trying to get ready to go to the stadium. This stuff breaks. And in the midst of it, you're getting text messages from friends, and then you're also trying to work and do your own thing and text other people and try and get confirmation about different things, try and get some behind the scenes on how this all came together. And you're so flustered, and it's totally changing your whole entire day. But at one point, I did text my brother. I'm like, yeah, but I really do love this circus.
It's an adrenaline rush. But I think you encapsulated that's just like a great example, because I don't think people realize when news breaks how that affects your actual personal space and your life and your responsibilities. Like, the thought of getting ready to start the day, like, you're already, you traveled, you're just trying to have a nice Sunday morning, and then now you're scrambling, and I'm sure you forgot something back at the hotel, or you forgot to charge this headphone or whatever it is that you need, because you didn't have all your ducks in a row because you're scrambling. It happens in my life actually daily. It's become a thing where, and for whatever reason, news breaks a lot between the hours. I've noticed East Coast time between 4 and 5:30, which anyone with children knows that's called the witching hour of hell and death. And times that I stand outside of my house. That's my safe space, because I just keep the kids inside in a area so they don't get out and do anything. But I go outside to have conversations. My street, like my neighbors, know more about the NFL than anyone on this planet. Like, my column doesn't reveal anything compared to what, Cheryl knows about what I'm doing, because she just hears the unfiltered. But I for your sakes, I'm so glad the Dak contract is wrapped. Guys, could you imagine our lives if we went this whole year and Dak wasn't done and they went out and played at a really high level, right? You have the storylines that go with that. What was Jerry doing? Now they're going to overpay. Because that was something Chase Daniel, my co-host on Scoop City, asked me. I think he actually FaceTimed me to ask me it. He's like, why did they give Dak so much money? They didn't have to do it. Like, that's not the market right now. I said, no, but it would be the market. That is the market. That's going to be the market if he hits free agency, possibly even higher. So I think in the end, they got a decent deal. And obviously next up is Brock Purdy and then CJ Stroud, who will probably hit 70 million. Okay, that's not a quote. I'm kidding. But
no, but you're right. That's where it's going. Yeah.
Right.
It's absolutely where it's going. Yeah.
So.
Kent, go ahead. Ken had. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, we got to get you out of here on something fun, non-football related. We're coming off the heels of a conversation about the Kendrick Lamar halftime show on this podcast. Diana, we know you have a direct line to Jay-Z. If he were to ask you, Diana, pick my halftime show for the Super Bowl, who are you picking for a Super Bowl halftime show?
Oh, this is a good one. Okay. First of all, I feel like I need to share this story real quick. I'm at a Nets game when the Nets were the New Jersey Nets. Okay. I'm maybe 19. Yeah. And I'm sitting like 2 rows behind the bench. And this guy comes up to me and he says, "Hey, I work for Jay-Z's company."
Mr. Z wants to talk to you.
What's his real name?
Sean Carter.
Sean Carter.
Sean Carter. You guys aren't going to believe this story when I tell you this because it's so ridiculous. It's so not my vibe, but whatever. He's like, I'm like laughing out loud thinking about it. He said, "We have a shoot tomorrow. He is doing a music video and we want all different types of women. And we think that you'd be perfect for this." And I'm like,
no way.
So at the time, I'm interning at ABC News for Diane Sawyer. And I'm at the game and my boyfriend's next to me when they do this whole thing too. And he's like, "You can't do this. You want to be a journalist. You can't be dancing in the background, like trying to be some hot chick that you're not, by the way." So I politely declined. Definitely spent years thinking about, oh my God, I turned down an opportunity to be in a music. And this was, I'm 100 years old. So this was when music videos were like,
Oh,
like
yeah,
cool.
they were, yeah.
Remember when they were like, you watched me, like you would be excited for the debut of one. So I wound up meeting Jay-Z years later and we were actually just at a bar. He just happened to be there. And so I tell him the whole story. He knew the exact video that I was talking about. He was like, "Oh, is this it?" I remember all that. We were down, like we didn't cast enough women and blah, blah, blah. And to his credit, you know what he said to me? He goes, "Hey, whatever," like as he was walking away, because it was like busy. He's like, "Whatever happened? Did you ever become a journalist?" I said, "I am. I'm a reporter." And he's like, "Good
yeah.
for you." And he fist bumped dude. By the way, every time I see Jay-Z, so he gives me like the acknowledgement, like I remember. And that was years ago. It's so cool. So
That's
okay.
awesome. Okay, so hold on. The ex-boyfriend, that's not your husband now, right?
Oh no. That
Because-
was actually my first real boyfriend.
You know what? Screw that guy, because you can be a background dancer in a Jay-Z video and be a journalist.
You know, in
Let's not be
2024 you can. In 2006, 2007, no.
Yeah, give
Right?
me
Like-
a year. Give me a year because I'm looking through his catalog
Go-
right now.
go-
trying
go-
to figure
What
out
song is
this
it? What song
I'm
is
trying to-
Which
the thing is, I
which
don't
video could
even
Diana
remember.
Rossini have been in?
Oh my God.
I'm thinking-
The Aggregators, Athletic
We're gonna have to-
Insider
yeah.
was going to be in a Jay-Z video, which is so, I'm so, not neurotic, but in 2024, it's so hard to do this job at a high level with credibility when you see so many other people finding different avenues of success by not being credible, by not doing it the right way, right? By just kind of using whether it's looks or other ways to get exposure. And then you see media outlets and executives be cool with it, right? So for me as a journalist over the years, I really tried to stay in this box that I was taught early from people like Diane Sawyer, that credibility is all you have. It never goes out of style. Classic traditional ways of reporting will never get old and people will always want it. So look, I made the right decision. Thank God. Because I think that would like probably stay with me. I don't know. Maybe in 2024 people would have thought it was cool, but I can't believe I told you guys that story. I
don't even know if they would have figured it out unless you told them. Like, how would they have spotted you? Like, been like, "Is that Diana Rossini in the background?" Of the-"
And back then, the jet black hair.
Yeah, like how would they even know it was you? I don't know.
It would be tough though if you were in that video now to even not tell people. Because I think I mean, especially it's his hit song and everything. It's Jay-Z. Like, it would be tough to not want people to know that.
John, I'm the same person who still tells everybody I broke all the records in high school in track and soccer. I am the queen of glory days. So I would be like, I'd be showing my sons, like, look at mommy in a bikini in a hot tub, like, you know, like some ridiculous scene that I probably would have been part of.
So who is the halftime show you would want? Who would be your glory day halftime show?
So embarrassing. I'm so old.
Like, if you were in the press box,
No,
you couldn't
you're
help
not.
but just like rock out to this.
The Killers.
Hell yeah,
There you
let's
go.
go. Come on, that's easy.
I saw the Killers when I was 9 months pregnant with my little guy, and I got these videos. I looked like I was going to have the baby in the audience, the way I was jumping around. It was electric. I saw them at MSG, and look, I know everyone makes fun of Mr. Brightside and the corniness of it, and it's the white guy anthem. I get it. That song is a banger. You put that on. Come on, you're telling me that doesn't come on during the halftime? The crowd goes nuts.
Yeah,
everyone is going nuts. I will say, so I saw Rihanna, Missy Elliott. Like there are all these those like stand out in terms of like performances of the past. Obviously, my Jersey Girl, so when Bruce played, I loved that. But I think the Killers would be cool. I think it'd be different too. We haven't had anything like that. So Kendrick Lamar, you know.
Yeah. John just saw the Killers in Vegas at the residency. I've seen them a million times. Love
They're
them.
from Vegas, right? Aren't they in
Yeah.
Vegas? Yeah.
Yeah, they rule. They rule. But
Yeah, they're really good.
we're gonna let you go, but like you had a good summer at training camp of tons of interviews. I love the Jordan Love interview; that was really good, and the Njoku interview was just, you know, what a great moment in football history that was.
So, for those listening, Kent, who's producing this show, is responsible for cutting video of our interviews, and so the communication from when I do the interview and when Kent sees it is very minimal because we're busy, we got stuff going on. So I live for moments. I live for the moment of the first text from Kent when he sees an interview, because that always tells me the real reaction to it. And that was the one interview where all I kept thinking was, I don't want to see Kent's texts. I don't want to see it, because I knew how off the rails that interview was. And back to the credibility chant I was going on here in lecture, like I didn't want to lose Kent as my colleague. I'm like,
I didn't even make it through like the first question before I was texting you like, what is going on? It was
so weird.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Please go watch it out there.
And I was like, if I could hide, I was trying to, like, physically, like in my, like, I just didn't want to watch it. You know, when you're in television for as many years as I've been in, you kind of just get over being embarrassed.
Because it's made for the internet. It's made for the internet.
It is made for the internet. So if you hadn't had a chance, you can go see it on YouTube. The reason why it was weird is he's so comfortable and he likes to be peculiar. And I'm not exactly normal either. So you put these two weirdos together, and you get the result that you're going to see. Which we just hit topics that, let's just put it this way, they weren't in my notebook. I did not sit down going, I'm going to talk about feed. We're going to talk about skincare, like all these topics that wind up coming up. But I appreciate KT that you check those out, and look for all the weirdness. With like a David Njoku, we did get some extremely informative type interviews where people were sharing things that I was learning in the moment. Sean Payton stands out as one of those. Even Stephen Jones. Stephen was our second guest. I think it's really cool when people see that there's, a team of people trying to do something different and they're willing to help out. It's not like I have some great relationship with him. Like, he's my buddy. Like, he just did that because he's like, look, you guys are trying to do something. I know I can help. I like attention. I'll come on.
Yeah. I have to talk to. Well, we want to tell everyone to check out the Scoop City podcast, of course, and all of Diana's writings over at The Athletic. Just subscribe to The Athletic. You can get all John and Saad's work as well. Just do that. So, Diana, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm sure I will be back with you guys at some point this year. And hopefully it's because we are just talking about nothing but good stuff happening. I got a good feeling this year.
Oh, let's continue the talks about this weird stuff. Music videos, the Killers, and then like Micah. You know, like there's all kinds of things. Make it work. Bye, Diana. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right, again, thank you to Diana Rossini for joining us. Let's talk Saints. Cowboys Saints. And this is, honestly, I was screwing around with all these like knockout leagues I've been messing around with. And one of the top picks this week after week 1 overreaction is, hey, man, Cowboys over Saints might be a pretty good pick. 6.5 point line. obviously the Saints got the Panthers with the 47-10 victory. So it's hard to really know, right? After week one, like, what are they? When you go into the year, none of us were picking the Saints to make the playoffs. So kind of start there. Probably feel pretty good about Sunday's game, right, John?
I would think so. I mean, it depends on what you think of the Panthers. If you think the Panthers are the absolute worst team in the NFL and might not win a game, then you might not look at that Saints victory as being that big of a deal. But being the team that the Cowboys showed that they were, at Cleveland, which is, they haven't been that great on the road, it looks like that you should have a lot of confidence in this team. Now, I will say the last time they were at AT&T Stadium, they did turn in what I think is the worst loss in Cowboys history against the Packers. But that was the playoffs, and this is a new season. And so I would think that if you're a Cowboys fan, you have to be feeling great about their chances in this game.
What do you think, Saad? I mean, if it's hard to know much about the Saints right now, but how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean it's in Dallas, so I feel that definitely helps. New Orleans is obviously still one of the tougher places to play, but so if it was there, I think I'd feel a little bit different. But fact it's in Dallas, they're at home. I don't take too much away from them being the Panthers. Like John said, it's not a great team. So I think they'll be fine.
Am I wrong if I group the Saints in there with like the Titans? Is like most boring team, like maybe just like nondescript. You just don't think about them that much. Like, because when I guess I just remembered that Chase Young signed with them in the offseason, and he had a decent day. Sunday he had 7 pressures on Bryce Young. And I was like, oh, they got Chase Young, which I guess people had forgotten about Chase Young a little bit, former top 5 pick. But I just don't think about the Saints too much. So like leaning in and trying to read up a little bit on them the last couple days, I actually learned a lot because I feel like I never think about the Saints.
Man, I'm going through the league right now. That's a good question, man. Most boring team. They are in the conversation, no question about it. Tennessee is a good one. Boring. I don't know about how you feel, but Denver's up there for me.
Yeah, no doubt. Like the Cardinals would be if they didn't have Kyler and. He's just fun. So, but if Kyler wasn't there, then you're like, okay, I don't know.
I'll tell you what, they keep playing like they did on Sunday. The Cleveland Browns are in there too for me.
Dude, man.
I would say I'm the opposite. I think Cleveland's really interesting. Not for on the field stuff, but
yeah, I think they become a lot really fun if Deshaun gets benched or something. I think that's just going to make them kind of pesky.
Jameis.
Yeah. Yeah, the Deshaun thing with me, I keep thinking about it is like all the drama potentially from this new lawsuit where I'm just like, I wonder how many people are just kind of tired of hearing about him off the field and, potential inappropriate behavior, like where people are just like, I don't even want to pay attention to that anymore,
Yeah. Well, the Saints.
But now Jameis gets in there.
Well, look out.
Maybe some things change.
Jameis, who was the backup to Derek Carr last year down in New Orleans, they made some changes, big sweeping changes to the offense. They were, last year they were, dead last in pre-snap motion, dead last in play action. Sunday they were first in pre-snap motion, third in play action. They added Clint Kubiak to be the offensive coordinator, and they are trying to do a lot of misdirection and things like that. They're trying to be a little bit different and not still. They've I heard. I think I was listening to the Athletic Football Show, and Robert Mays mentioned that Derek Carr was 27th in the league in dropbacks without motion last year. Joe Burrow played 8 games last year and had more dropbacks with motion. Like they've added that to their offense to kind of change things a little bit, but they kind of have a bad offensive line. It's got a few injuries that happened on Sunday. We'll see if we'll probably learn more as the week goes on here. We're recording this on Wednesday, so if Marshawn Lattimore going to play, things like that. But man, lost a bunch of dudes. Zach Bond, who looked good for the Eagles, and Marcus May, they lost. But then, I mean, you look at them at wide receiver. Their 3rd wide receiver, Cedric Wilson. You guys remember our guy Cedric Wilson? Like they completed 6 passes the other day. To the wide receivers. Everyone else was running backs and tight ends, and they're going to hand the ball to Taysom Hill and do all that stuff. But it's not a team I fear at all, especially playing at home too. But you can't just go and discount it because 47-10 against any NFL team is impressive. And sometimes early in the year, it's like our teams that are ahead of teams based on what they did in camp and how they hit the league. And we talked about the Browns might be a little slower to kind of hit their stride. And the Cowboys felt like they were more ready to hit their stride based on how healthy they are. And looking at those things with the Saints, I was like, they might be dangerous. They might be able to put up some points. But two things come back here. Cowboys putting pressure on the quarterback. Saints not having a great offensive line. Kind of feels like a recipe for a blowout win for the Cowboys.
Yeah. I'm not sure that would do much to change my perception on the team, I guess. I mean, if let's say we're not going to say it's a blowout. Let's say it's a good game or whatever. Is that impress you more than the Browns game? Or do you need to see more from the Browns?
I think I tend to lean towards what Saad said. Kind of, the Browns could be intriguing, and maybe just weren't ready to do it in week one. I think
it's more concerning if they lose to the Saints and the Browns look bad again. Then you beat a bad Browns team and lost to a Saints team we don't know about, and you better hope they win this one.
And I just find it hard to believe, especially with them being healthy and what we saw on Sunday, that you're not going to get even more pressure on Derek Carr at home. Like he's not as mobile as Deshaun Watson. The team admitted after the game, they left a good 3-4 sacks out on the table. I mean, if you're Derek Carr, you got to be getting the ball up quick because this could be a long day for you.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about Derek Carr? Because he's a bit of an enigma as well. And one of the guys that, a former team played the game of, you know what, you can go elsewhere.
He's just a guy at this point, right? Kind of like a Jimmy G in my eyes.
Diet Kirk.
Yeah, Diet Kirk. I like that.
You don't think he's the same as Kirk?
He might be.
Who would you rather have, Kirk or Derek Carr?
I think Kirk.
I could probably rather have Derek Carr.
I mean,
I don't know.
Then it's come back to the easy thing of, Dak over both of them.
We have Dak.
We're good.
So it's good.
Don't have to worry about it. I don't know. I kind of like to note Kirk's game on Sunday. I'm like, is that just Achilles guy being rusty? Week one is just prime for overreaction.
Yeah, but Carr's only 3 years. I thought Carr was a lot younger than him. He's only 3 years younger, so I'm probably going Kirk.
Wow.
God, it is weird that Derek Carr's not that young either.
This is the debate of the century right here. Kirk versus V. Carr.
Yeah, I told you the Saints are boring, dude. Like finding juicy stuff about the Saints, good luck. They're not fun.
I honestly haven't thought about the Saints, though, since Drew Brees left. Like, they just haven't been in my consciousness at all, football-wise, and I cover the league every day for a living, and I still rarely think about them.
It's a combo. It's a combo, though, with Sean Payton factors in that, too.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
When he was gone, that's a big factor in them not being on the same, especially covering the Cowboys, because for the longest time, it was always, if the head coach doesn't work in, then Sean Payton's the next guy. So there was just that natural, you always kind of kept one eye on the Saints a little bit. And with him not being there, that I think for me took a little bit of attention away.
You watched the Kevin James, Sean Payton movie yet, John?
No.
Still haven't seen it. Wow.
It feels like a bet payoff, personally.
Why is it bad?
It's got to be bad.
I think it's great. Depending on what you're looking for.
You saw it? You watched the whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
Why would that be a question? I feel like
Kevin
Ken's
James
seen everything
playing Sean Payton, and you're asking if I watched the whole thing.
Dude, I forgot. We're talking.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen? What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
Oh man, there's been a few this year that were up there. Madam Web was up there this year. I don't know if you saw that one, but
yeah, they were promoting it as if it sucked.
There's been a few recently that are.
You're saying it's worse than Anchorman 2?
Oh yeah.
Is it better than season 7 of The Office?
Anchorman 2 made me smile. Yes. Oh gosh, that's a great question.
Is that season 7 or 8?
Season 7's the last one with Michael. Season 8's Robert California. Season 9, I think it's just shouldn't even exist on the planet. I don't know why. The finale is great, but the rest of the last season, not so much. Gosh, it's tough.
It is funny. I scroll through, and if I just pass Comedy Central on YouTube TV, and it shows like what season and episode it is, if it's 8 or 9, it's like, now I gotta find something else to watch. It's not going to be that, but it's probably still fine.
Todd, if you're picking between season 8 or 9 of The Office, what do you choose? Last season or Robert California?
Season 8, just because season 9 had a lot of confusing storylines that were just, didn't really know where they were going, like the cameraman and Pam and all that other stuff. Yeah. Like it was just like it just seemed like a very confusing like plot line, I guess, for that they didn't even kind of know where it was going.
Who wrote down, no, let's try and get Pam interested in this guy with the boom mic, and they were like, no, go with that, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, even like, I think it's season 9, right, when they go to Florida, and so,
oh yeah,
and then Jim like cheating on Pam with Kathy was like it was going there, but then it didn't go there, and it was a lot of confusing storylines and all that.
But didn't you say that's probably because John Krasinski didn't want to go there?
Yeah, he refused.
I think he refused to film the scene, like it was written, but he was like,
that.
I'm literally not going to do it. So
yeah. But it was just like then they didn't need to do that whole thing then,
Yeah.
Like, and then they were like, okay, cool. You're not going to do that? That's fine. What can we do to piss? We're going to have Pam's love interest be the boom mic guy then, John.
He's like, man, it's my TV wife. Stop messing with her. I know it's bad. You run out of ideas, but here's the problem: is these corporate executives come in. And they're the ones who start telling you, do more. I was reading a book about the OC. I'll keep it short. But the OC, they made him do 27 episodes in season 1. And then they told the guy who made the show, hey, make a spinoff of one of these characters. And then they were like, dude, a spinoff after one season of a show? That's ridiculous. That's like if they said make an Office spinoff of,
They tried to. It was going to be off of Dwight's farm. They tried to.
But it's like if they made that after season 1, that's nuts. And they only did it just to appease all these people because they had a hit on their hands. Bad ideas. Yeah. The art. Let the art.
Well, they're doing The Office again.
I think Saad would still watch every episode of whatever Dwight's Farm show would be called. They could be in season 10 right now.
100%. There's no question about it.
As long as Mose was involved.
The Rainn Wilson podcast, he did an episode with Bryan Cranston recently. And it's very good. I don't listen to the Rainn Wilson podcast, but I saw a clip and then I listened to the whole episode. It's wonderful. Talking about how they're known as Walt White and Dwight. And Rainn Wilson was talking about how it's a real beating to go to the store. And everyone's like, hey, it's Dwight. And he's like, that was a character from 13 years ago. Like, I'm a person.
Yeah. I've always talked about this with Saad with Steve Carell. And he's had a lot of success in movies, but I've always felt like since The Office, whether it be the way he has his hair like all gray or tries to do like the beard and everything like that, I feel like he's trying to distance from that so much. And I don't think it's possible. Like, I don't think there's anything he can do to where he won't be Michael Scott. So, but here, I'll ask you guys this. Okay, so you can either be for the rest of your life Michael Scott or Walter White. I'm taking Walter White. He's a badass. Michael Scott, even though I love him, he's my favorite character in any movie or TV, you're also looked at as kind of like this buffoon and that you just always mess things up. And so if you're like Steve Carell, like I could see where that would bother him. Whereas like, if you're going to call me Walter White for the rest of my life, like I'm not that upset with it. I mean, aside from the whole, like, treating people badly and being an awful human being, like his character is kind of a badass though. So
yeah, no doubt. All right, let's do picks. There's your Saints. Get your grip for the Saints. I'll go first here. Cowboys 27-17. Let's go to you, Kent.
Oh, man, I don't see Dallas losing this one. They were in hostile territory last week. Looked great. Back at home. Cowboys 79, Saints 11.
11. Okay. Saad?
I'm gonna go Cowboys 38, Saints 10.
Wow.
There you go.
I'm with you, dude. I kind of like it. John?
Vegas has 6.5. You guys are getting crazy here. I think the Cowboys will win. I'll go 28-17.
28-17. All right. If you're listening, we set up a Discord server, and you can put in your picks and predictions as well. Guess the score of the game. There's a little section that just says picks and predictions. And if you guess the correct score and you get your entry in by 11:59 a.m. on Sunday morning, the first person that guesses that correct score, we will pay you the total number of points scored in the game. And John actually was willing to double that up. So you'll get twice the points. So if the Cowboys do win 79-11 and you guess that, then you would be getting $180. So that's just part of the fun here on the One Star Cowboys podcast. We'll be back Sunday night after the game for instant reaction. It's a nooner on Sunday at AT&T Stadium. Is there anything else we need to get to? Are we good? Anyone got anything? Anyone?
Yeah, let's go back to season 7 of The Office.
Okay.
No, I'm just joking. I'm good.
I'm okay with
Saad,
it.
do you think The Office should have ended with the Goodbye Michael episode? Like that should have been it?
No, I like some of the after Michael stuff. It was just season 9 is where it got a little long. Season 8, like it wasn't great. Season 8 wasn't great, but it was fine. Since we did bring up season 7, though, I do want to say for anybody that watched the debate and there was the concepts of a plan line, and I tweeted this out. I didn't watch the debate, but I got on Twitter and I saw everyone tweeting concepts of a plan. And the first thing that popped in my mind, well, those two things. So number one was Will Arnett's interview for regional manager when he's like, when he's like saying like, I'll give you part of the plan. I'll give you part one, whatever of this, of like part A or whatever. There was that. And then of course the 45 whatever plan. But yeah, I did. And then that was the final episode of season 7. Because they were looking for the new regional manager after Will Ferrell, unalived himself. So
like, if you're interviewing, like, I'm not going to give you the whole plan though. Like, you're going to have to make a curiosity hire, because if you're not going to hire me, I will take my plan somewhere else and we will beat you.
Yeah.
Saad did this thing where after each Stars game, he would tweet a GIF from The Office that described the game.
It was amazing.
You do that 80 times. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I just started that with the Cowboys too. So game 1 was Michael in that job interview with David, because Overshone and Kendricks had such a good game. So I did where he's saying, well, actually my weaknesses are my strengths, because last year that was their weakness. So I remember like he's like talking about how like I worked too hard to do this, and then David's like, well, what are your strengths? And he's like, well, my weaknesses are my strengths. And so that's what I did for week 1, because Kendricks and Overshone had such a good game.
Didn't you do New Girl for the second year of the Stars?
Yeah, I
like,
did.
Didn't you?
Yeah,
I want people to be afraid
Oh.
of how much they love me.
It's funny that you bring up the concepts of a plan thing, though, because I'm not going to say who texted me this, but it's someone that most people that listen to this podcast would know. Friend of the show, but texted me last night, and I didn't watch the debate either, but I did see the, I have concepts of a plan, and this person texted me during it, which it was me and another person who cover the Cowboys were in this text group, and said, which one of y'all is brave enough to do the quote, I have a concept of a plan meme, but add in a photo of Jerry. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not doing that, because I'm not getting involved with all of that. Like, I try to do anything that's,
That's for me to do, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll handle that. You guys go ahead.
Yeah.
You guys may not want to be associated with me, though, at some point. All right, there we go. Let's get out of here. We'll see you guys on Sunday. Enjoy the game. Everyone have a good weekend. If there's anything crazy that happens, we'll pop in with the emergency podcast as well. So follow, subscribe, check out that Discord server. Follow Sod, John online in their articles. Follow Kent in the Mad About Movies podcast as well.
Shout out.
And I'm Kevin. So everyone, yeah. All right, cool. There it is. Thank you, Diana Rossini, for joining us. And thank you to Rainn Wilson. This has been the One Star Cowboys podcast. See you next time.